Hi, Taurus men. This is your online Book of Changes I Ching relationship spread for February 2017. This spread is meant to give you insight into the influences affecting your current relationship. So the first card I'm picking for you is really a card that's meant to tell you the ground upon which each of you stand in the relationship, and it's meant to show you what's influencing the roots of your foundation and also where each of you are coming from this month. It's just generally telling us the anchoring, but it's also telling us where there might be a lack of security in the relationship. So you got pushing through, with pushing upward, which is hexagram 46, and in this position. And right now it's telling you that there's really nothing standing in the way for you right now. You see a mushroom coming forth through the ground, and this is a wonderful card. It's telling you that support is coming from all places this month, Taurus, and just generally. You can appreciate the past struggle now as an essential part of what it is that it's taken to become who you are. And the things that you've gone through have really determined who you are, and that's really showing right now as your dreams are becoming a reality. So I haven't really seen such a wonderful card yet in the first position for any of the signs, so congratulations. Also, this card is advising you, if you do need help, then you can ask those people who are in a position to help you, because they're really willing to. Remember to stay grounded, and remember that there's a lot of really good timing happening right now. Remember to keep your vision really wide, and don't forget other people that have helped you get to where you are. Don't let any kind of hesitation, you're not going to let any kind of doubt cloud your mind. This is really a self-confidence card. You are not going to withdraw, and don't let other people, and notice that you have a reluctance, because that's really not the message that you want to send right now. So don't be reluctant. This is an amazing card. Reach for the stars with this card. You can make a really big difference with your own style, and you're going to really make a place for yourself. That's what it's saying. Life is moving swiftly. You don't need to push the boat in the river. It's going fast. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. You really, really, really deserve this. And as soon as this whole cards reading is over, get back to work, okay? So, great card. Let's see where your partner is kind of in relationship to that. Your partner has the hexagram 33, which is progress. So obviously she's witnessing this progress, or he or she is witnessing your progress and also making progress for themselves. So the circumstances are really bright for them as well. It seems like a really bright month for you. If that's not the case, we'll get into how you can change it so that it is the case. But generally, when we get this card, it's saying things are really very good. So this is a bright moment in your partner's life right now with regards to the relationship, and also generally. Remember, this is a general reading, and if you want a more specific reading, just email me. But back to this card is saying you can observe life really keenly, and even if there are events that are turning one way or the other, just accepting that this is the natural way and to be happy with it is the message of this card. Also, this card has an ego attachment to it, so ego likes to be recognized for all the hard work that they've done. So if there has been some hard work that you need to recognize, Taurus partners, be sure you recognize that. But also, the ego is second, of course, to our own inner knowledge. So remembering that sometimes things don't come just because of what we have worked for is an important thing to keep in mind. Also, making sure that you're working with time and not against it, and putting energy into dealings at the when you intuit is the best moment, is the key here. Otherwise, you could just relax and let things go your way. So work hard, continue working hard, and don't rest on your laurels is the sign of this card. And just be aware of the subtle things going on right now so that you can shift them if you need to. The positive effects of your work is really going to be very easily felt with this card. So make sure you enjoy it, and also remember, of course, that it's not what's happening, it's also the journey. So just remembering that Miley Cyrus song. What's that song? It's The Climb. So listen to that song if you have any questions about the meaning of this card. Okay, so the next cards depict the emotional climate of the situation. Excuse me. These cards really depict the dynamic that supports the harmony that each of you experience together, and can also tell you about the challenges that you face together that create discord or kind of block communication. These cards can also give a lot of insight into that baggage that we hold and the wounds that we hold, or fears, and what it is that we've done to kind of camouflage them from ourselves. So good to look at this card and see it as for what it is. So Taurus men, you have youthful folly in this position. Okay, so this person is tightrope walking, and it's not an easy task, or it's not an easy job to be a tightrope walker, right? You need to make sure you really know what you're doing before you get up there, otherwise you could fall and break a leg. So this card is saying that sometimes in life we don't know the lessons that we're meant to learn. And sometimes we find how much, over time, that what we wanted to learn wasn't necessarily what we did learn. And what made us successful wasn't necessarily what we had studied for. So there's going to be some maturity that needs to be developed, or just remembering that sometimes we're just not in control of what life wants to teach us. But life is going to be a compassionate. So if you haven't learned something, you have time to learn it. And it's only when you've learned that lesson do you move on to the next one. So if you feel like you're stuck trying to learn something, or you're having problems finding a right person for the job that you don't know how to do, you just are being held back. But understanding that is not going to be enough. You're going to have to really feel this one out. So don't be impatient. You can't just figure everything out right in the moment. If there's something about your partner you just don't understand, you're just going to have to be patient. And you're going to be gunning for that green light, but don't give in to impulses. So if you impulsively aren't getting something, there's a reason. So just by some advice for this card really is, if you feel like you might be near kind of self-made disaster, and it's something that you've created because you haven't mastered something yourself, really the best thing to do is to just be aware and work with the Tao, not against it. So I'm really sure that you can do that. Okay, your partner's position, your partner's hexagram for this position, the emotional climate and how they're feeling, maybe not sharing, maybe sharing, is 21, which is biting through. So this card is telling us that basically you really need to have some swift and decisive action, or you need to change the way you're approaching things. If there's something that's blocking your peace, you need to take the responsibility to make it work. It's not going to be on the Taurus male. It's not going to be your responsibility. So it's going to be on your partner's responsibility this month. And it's really saying don't be anxious and don't hesitate. You really just need to take that step and do what it is that you need to do, and with some emotional detachment. So the time is right for just doing it. You need to, with this card, they're saying that you might not know exactly what it is that's causing the distress here. And that's okay. It's gonna show itself. So if there's some sort of little traumas, the root cause of them will eventually happen, but don't wait for it. Fix it in the here and now. If it's something that's just aching you or causing aches, don't wait to understand what it is exactly. Just take the immediate steps to remedy it. So this card is saying you're going to have to attend to it and be determinate. And this might mean that some aspects of or reformation within the relationship will change. People that you know, friends, might be not your friends anymore. I'm seeing some sort of, maybe you had some mutual friends that you got into an argument with. It's just saying it's okay. Sometimes as a couple, you need to leave certain people, places, and things, and situations behind. Simple and just loving goodbyes, even if it can be painful. Sometimes you need to let go of people that way. Also, if you're thinking about breaking up with a Taurus guy, you need to just see if that's causing you more pain than pleasure. Then that's what this card is telling you, to make a decision and not sit around. So if something's causing you pain, just get out of it. Okay? So the 5th and 6th cards focus on the state of mind of Taurus on this side and the partner on this one. This card is going to really let us know your attitude towards your hopes and fears with regards to the relationship. And this is inner truth. This hexagram is number 61. And it's really telling you here that you've got to follow your inner truth in this situation. Your inner truth is something that's eternal and not changing. It's not something that society can tell you. It's not something that if you feel doubts about, that would be the wrong way. So if there's two ways and one way feels more doubtful and the other way feels really good, that's the way to take. Just like when you go to a restaurant, sometimes you just know what to order, and you order it and you're happy. That's kind of like what inner truth is. It's not being emotional, and it's not adopting the beliefs of society or what your parents tell you or what your friends tell you. So you know, Taurus, what this card is telling you about this relationship. Whatever that might be. Also, the ego is not the one that's going to help you in this situation. So letting go of the ego. This is a really spiritual card, telling you that your attitude is going to determine kind of what happens here. And as long as you remain doubtful, that's the wrong way. So this one's easy. I think Taurus is pretty spiritual, pretty spiritually involved creatures. So this is 59, the hexagram number 59. It's for the partner of the Taurus in this reading. It's known as dispersion. This is a card that I actually don't pick very often. So it's telling us that there's going to be some scattering of obstacles that have been getting in the way of complete unity. So if there's been some sort of communication mishaps, maybe you lost your phone or a phone got broken or something like that, it could have caused some suffering. So also there needs to be more communication within the self. So it's not just calling someone else on the phone. Sometimes it's checking in with ourselves and seeing what is going on. And this card really says that if you have felt alienated at all, that there's going to be a time where you're just, all that dispersion is going to come again together, and you're really going to feel back, you're going to feel your spirit again, basically. And basically you can also feel your spirit in relation to the Taurus male. If you feel like you've been cut off from a natural flow, that also by dissolving the rigidity that's held you back, warmly dealing with it is the way to go. So kind of just acting, don't be that cold person this month. Be warm in your dealings with others, and it's going to take you a long way. So don't have a chilly disposition, because by putting pressure on people, they're going to get defensive, and you don't want to do that. So you need to return to being open and trusting, and not screaming when things don't resort to ultimatums. If you're getting ultimatums, that might be a sign that you're getting some ultimatums, Taurus male here. Ultimatums don't necessarily work. So sincere intention and releasing negative attitudes is what this card is calling for. So during this time, it's not really the best time to reunify, but eventually it will be, and that's going to come from not being cold. Don't worry about losing face, because that's the ego. And just realize that you are the situation, and that you don't have to be controlling it, because it's pretty hard to control all those floating pebbles, those floating leaves. Okay, this is the final card that's meant to tie everything together. It's the Insight card. And you have hexagram 17 here. The Insight card is just kind of meant to tie everything together and reflect on what's going on in the relationship right now after this reading. So this is following. And this card is telling, or reminding us rather, that if we want to be leaders, we also know how to follow. We need to know how to follow. So we can't have followers without leaders, and vice versa. What makes a good teacher? Ask yourself what makes a good teacher, and also ask yourself what makes a good follower, both of you. That is definitely coming up. Also remember that if there is a follower, if there's somebody who's feeling really worked in a certain situation, maybe that's coming in between the two of you this month. It's just remember that the leader that you're following, maybe it's your boss, it's hard to get that synchronicity, but you're learning important things, and don't try to manipulate people in order to get what you want, because manipulation is not going to be a long-term answer. It's asking, this card is asking for continuing education and experimenting with different philosophies. So Chinese philosophy definitely counts. The I Ching is an ancient form of wisdom. So make sure you subscribe. But when you're looking for guidance, you, of course, it goes without saying, but I will say it, keep in touch with your inner truth. If something doesn't ring true for you, it's not true. Punto. Period. And that's going to require honesty. So make sure you're both being honest to your own selves, and that you're tuning in again, and also staying open to learning new things. If you're leaders, that's wonderful. Don't forget what it meant to be a follower. all right? And everything will go well. So these cards were illustrated by Madhava Padma. I'm going to be doing your March reading, should be up March 1st. Make sure you subscribe and share with your friends. And also check out your partner's astrological sign for a little bit more insight. Okay, have a nice month. Thanks for listening. Bye.